on YouTube and, you know, having a conversation. The election is coming soon here in Nevada. Public education is at the table. Why do I say that? I say, oh, my big hair right there. Because we have an obligation to ourselves. Living in America, most people who look like me don't do politics, and they live in their boxes, and they don't come out. Maybe they come out for enjoyment or pleasure, but the reality is that here in Nevada, if you have money, you can socialize because it costs money to socialize. But if you have, what can I say, children, and you're moving children here into Nevada, as I'm trying to get the shadow of my phone out of my face. Um, People come here, and people are moving states that are having people move to Vegas, and failure for the people who look like me in the public education system is a reality. My children were not educated here, therefore, we don't have to. I don't. I mean, I've tried to understand how it is that they have so few Head Start centers and that everything here is, you know, a not-for-profit or a for-profit agency. And there is no state agency. There is no federal oversight. There's just none of that. And they're not black people that are making it. Well, when you have a 259%, 259% of the people in the juvenile facility are African American. Why should I say that? Because it's true. They have a 88% population of children who are in the juvenile is 88, foster care is 48. And the willful defiance in the public school system is a whole, well, shoot, it is a whole, almost 300% of the issues for behavior infractions. But who's saying willful defiance is a behavior? They did, you know. But what I understand is that so many people, well, they weren't with me when I was doing my level of advocacy at Sacramento City Unified School District, but my children all graduated high school with high school diplomas. That's right. And my siblings' children all graduated with high school diplomas. It's these people here where they have all of these certificates of completion. I had a visitor, but they left. But it doesn't really matter because black people are not making it, and they are not coming together and talking about the failure of mandatory compulsory services. And that's just real. What does it look like? I don't know. What do these buttons do down here? Oh, we can start a poll. Start a poll. How do you see public education? How do you see? There's a question. Yes or no? Those are the options. Yes or no. No. That's it. People don't understand. Public education is mandatory, and it really is. You could lose your children behind issues. You know what I'm saying? That what's that? That's it. And what does that one do right there? Okay. And you get to show your. No, I'm not gonna end it yet. But I just wanted to. There we go. So, anyways, I could just do it like that. The sun is out this morning, and it's just unfortunate that I know lots of people. I've met so many people on my journey. And I've met senators, and I met, you know, Nancy Pelosi as I was an emerged candidate in '08. And there were a lot of women that are actually serving office in the Bay Area and around San Francisco that were merged sisters when I was, so I have family there, whatever you want to call this social structure, people who know who I am in the Bay Area. And then I just have family, but it really doesn't matter. The deal is that public education is mandatory. And I say mandatory because we all pay. How does that work? Just how is it working? Because quite frankly, when you look at the children who look like me, they're not making it. And states' rights have a lot to do with everything in 2024. So states' rights say that you can or cannot have a baby if you get pregnant. States' rights are saying, some of those states are saying that you, no matter what your health condition is, will have that child. What do you think about that? Mandatory? Yes, that's what states' rights is all about. You've got people telling you how you have to live your life when they're not providing any services. But when they provide all that money for foster care here in Nevada, and $50,000, some people get $50,000 a pop, but when the state of Nevada was told that it was being too restrictive in the kinship category, too restrictive, and they needed to release some of the restrictions that they had, and quite frankly, some of the senators just didn't understand what the state was being told. And I will tell you, as long as you are going along for the ride, and you too believe that scholarships are valuable, and they really are, because Nevada is going up to 500% of the poverty index for scholars to receive free public education, free. And you can go up to 500% of the poverty index. And what about the poor folks? It's hot out here already. You sit in that sun. You know, on the day that the eclipse happened, on the 8th, it was freezing out here and the sun was out. But today, the sun is hot already. Hot and ready, whatever. Got to go to the shade. And the real Al Sharpton comes on. And Yvette Carnell and Karen Hunter and Greg Carr. And there are just people that are intelligent that are having these conversations. You know, hey, but how do we join the conversation as it is a national conversation? As what? As freedom has never been free. And what are you doing to ensure adequacy happens for the people who look like you? Because it's not happening. And so it's the people. You get it? What's happening with the people who look like you? Because we could look at black people and say, why don't they do something for themselves? Quite frankly, they are. And thank God my mother had the ability to do something for me, because I certainly have a home. And I can sit here every day and I don't have to work. Well, because, somebody had already done something to me. And when you are in poverty, you don't get a choice. That's right. They said, oh, well, I think you have breast cancer. Well, from my experience, Kaiser Permanente denied me the right to have a second opinion. And then they took my breast. They took the right one. The first surgery, they said, oh, it's in the upper left quadrant of the right breast. And I said, okay. And they cut it all the way down to the bone. Down to the bone. It's bone. And then they said they didn't get it all. I said, well, how could you not get it all? That's what you told me. So then I told them to take the whole damn thing, because I didn't want to be forced to taking the drugs, the chemo and all that. Whatever. Guess what? I didn't have to take nothing because they didn't find nothing. And that's just true. And so, there are incidents of being in poverty where the harvest just uses you. I was working for Los Rios Community College, Cosumnes River College, over there on Cosumnes River Boulevard in South Sacramento. And I was happy to be working there, happy to be a single parent, happy to be raising my 3 sons. I was pregnant. I only had 2 sons then. Oh, Lord. Working in there with those chemicals. Well, Chuck Spruce came over and made sure that I didn't continue the job there, because the chemicals in the mailroom were affecting me as a pregnant female. I didn't know that at the time, but now I do. Last child that I had was affected by chemicals, and I was given a workers' comp. What they give you? A workers' comp, you know, agreement with an open medical. The open medical says that I would get it for life, but soon as they could, they stopped paying because chronic pain was not what they were paying for. And they said, oh, it was just, oh, you know, like a overuse syndrome, like my hands were hurting. No, my whole body was hurting, and I know that I said that several times. And then, so the doctor finally told me that it was like I was borderline rheumatoid arthritis, but that's just chemicals in your body that your body can't get rid of, and they cause chronic pain. And since I don't have to take the pain medication here in Nevada, I'm doing okay because, it's the other medical marijuana, and there's CBD or whatever. All those things really work on pain, and I manage my pain here. What I can't manage here is the inability to, what can I say? I'm looking at the outcomes, the lack of outcomes, and I understand compulsory law. Maybe you don't. Every state is given the obligation to do what? To ensure adequacy happens for the people live within the state, within the boundaries. Well, these people, I think they're insane because they've just allowed all these not-for-profit agencies to come in and provide services. Hell, when you go into the medical profession, any kind of ailment you might have, you go into the lobby, log on this website and drop down and find your organization that you want to have provide services to you, and you build that way. And I'm saying, well, that's what they're doing here. They don't have state agencies. They just don't. They don't have federal oversight. They just don't. They do what the hell they want to do here in Vegas. So, yeah, well, I heard them. What? I heard them talk about this. I heard them talk about giving military families. Oh no, O.J. Simpson died. Oh my goodness, he must have had a heart attack. Oh wow, he died right here in Vegas. Hello, hello, hello. Do you see that announcement just flash through OJ could have really been a help to the community because he understood the level of oppression, and he understood how 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 things happen to you, and the Me Too shit. R. Kelly, I thought R. Kelly was innocent because he was in the field, and now we're going to talk about all those people in the music industry and their sexual behavior. I don't think so. I don't think I want to know all that. But I do see these children, and they have the ability to gyrate their ass, and that's all that I see the kids are caught up in, sexual behavior. They can't even pay for that shit. They don't have a roof over their head, and they're living in their mama's home. And when they ain't living in their mama's home, they're shacking up with 2 or 3 people, and it's not a life. When we don't even work in our own communities, and we don't. Thank you for the compliment. My hair is white. I liked it when I made it all white because I bleached it a little bit, but then it stopped growing. It was just breaking off. And then I said, well, I want to just braid it, you know what I'm saying? And just let it go, but it's not long enough to braid. And so we're just going to, move through the process of whatever. But what we do need to understand, it's mandatory that you do a little bit of public policy. And what does that look like? Well, if you're not going to do public policy, then you get on this box, because we live in a box, and I'm sitting out here on my patio, which is kind of like a box. But anyways, the conversation about who is an American and what is an American in the first effing place, because quite frankly, I'm I'm not attached to California. I'm not attached to Nevada. I've lived in Michigan. I've lived in Texas, and I've lived in Japan, and I've lived, where else have I lived? In Italy for a while. And I've seen America. I've seen the world. And I do know one thing, that in California, where I had my children, it was a requirement, a mandatory requirement. My children didn't get no letter grades of F. But I'm just trying to understand, all those children in public school, they get the letter grade of F. What are they doing? And what are they doing after? And what is the certificate of completion that the people have allowed public schools to have? That's just saying that you were there and that you didn't get any benefit. I'm saying, well, what the hell? Did we not pay people for the benefit? And I'm saying, oh no. That's all I can say. Oh no. Because that's not real. That's not a real reality. It's not a real choice. If you're mandatorily required to attend public education for 12 years, well, the Republican Party would like to say, well, we're just going to get rid of the Department of Education because we don't need it anymore. And I said, well, who told you that? It's just like we need oversight over the medical profession, because when they tell you you have breast cancer and they take your breast and then they didn't find no cancer, and then what are you supposed to do? They said, oh, well, we can give you all the treatment. I said, no, you can't give me shit, because if you could have given me something, you would have did it on the front end, not on the back end, boo. I don't need you on the back end because God got me. You know, God got me at 65. God got me. And I'm happy to be alive, and I'm blessed. And things are working out. My children are home. All that male stuff going on. Because when your children leave home and then they come back damaged. I want you to understand that. Because they've been in the world, and the world has taken abuse of them. And for these young women who think that there's nothing out there except for flapping that ass, boo, you got a lot of, well, you're going to catch hell. That's all I'm going to say. Because sex is to procreate. Once you have them babies, then you have to learn how to sacrifice. And so many people just don't even understand sacrifice. But I understand sacrifice and gathering, as gathering is real for me. And I got to learn how to let go. Just let it go. But life is about the gather. Life is about the journey. And I really like that program over there on the Wisdom app. I'll look for another one like that. But right now I'm on Podbeam. And Podbeam, not so many people I don't think you can see when people come in, but there are people that do come listen to my talks on Podbeam. I'm Citizen Anderson over there. Why I consider myself a citizen? Well, hell, I was born in Mississippi. Know that I'm not attached to Mississippi, and I damn sure ain't attached to Nevada. And California, where, well, I own a home here because my mother gave it to me. That's just real. But I'm blessed to have a home, and I'm blessed to have a roof over my head. And as far as I can say, I'm not going to lose this home. But, I have a car. I have automobile insurance. If you don't have automobile insurance, get you some. Because if you don't, guess what? Everything about this world says that you get punished for choosing not to engage in the process. And even if you pay taxes, boo, you ain't getting shit back if you don't file. And that's just real. But even when you do pay, you have a hard time getting your shit back from the state, because the state has their eyes on that money too. Believe me, if they could keep it when your mama died, they would. But my mama had bills, and I want that money to pay her bills, and I'm going to get it. That's just as simple as that. Life, liberty, and justice is for who? I'm just trying to understand. Because so many people aren't not making it. Something is happening. Oh, Jeff is off to work. I didn't see him this morning. He's pretty dysfunctional across the street. But the whole thing is everybody lives in a box. You don't know what's going on in that box. And then all of a sudden, somebody died. Then all of a sudden you're interested. No. Community means communal, coming together, communal, whatever. And when you live in communities, O.J. Simpson is dead in 1976. Well, I graduated in 76. He was only 76 years old, but he was still blessed. He was out there playing golf. I don't know, maybe he had a heart attack, but hey, you don't know what's going on with people because you just don't know. And people didn't know what was going on with him, but he had children. And his children will inherit his money. And his children are connected to white people. because his wife was white. But he had one black son. I think he had one black son. Well, we'll see. Well, it doesn't really matter, right? Because, public education is mandatory. And that's just real. Life, liberty, and justice for who? Not for you, boo, when you choose not to show up. Oh, I don't do politics. I said, really? So what is it that you do? Because you live here, you paying taxes, and you are paying taxes. Everybody pays taxes. And the public services that happen for the people who live here are decided by who? The people who choose to show up. Public policy. And I'm saying, well, goddamn, why is it that Mississippi didn't have water? And what happened to the water in Michigan? But then to find out that all across this nation, things are not happening, where the people are not being protected. And then look at the bridge. What the hell happened to the bridge in Baltimore? Do you think that we don't see this? I don't know, but we keep on talking about the Donald. And somebody loves him for what? What did he do for anybody? And I'm confused. Because black people are saying, oh, he did this. What he did was he didn't pay attention to the regulations. And he got over. A whole lot of he got over. But the first time in your life, you probably got over. Because my son said he got the most under unemployment that he ever got. Because he was working all these little small jobs. And they all paid in. And when it came down to it, COVID hit, he got paid. You got it? I don't know anymore. I can't. Yeah, okay. O.J. Simpson died. He was a football star. It was alleged that he had killed his wife, but now they can be together. That's what I'm saying. Because he didn't get married again. Know that. He didn't remarry. He didn't have a reason to kill her. She had a lifestyle of the rich and famous, and she had his money, boo. And she was very dysfunctional. But I'm not there to judge her. She got judged on her own, and she ain't here. Just like my two baby daddies. I got two baby daddies, and they're already in the urn, and their judgment was not up to me. But I have one still, and he's gonna write my son and tell him how he had a heart attack and that he something else. Mark Dunn, Billy Dunn is his dad. His dad was a musician or something like that. But Mark, well, he was just an everyday person, and a scammer is what he was. And I didn't have to deal with that because I had a mama. And my mama took care of me. That last one was mine, and I ate it. But my son graduated with a 101, ate a laptop, and above proficient. And perhaps there were some imbalances with his daddy. But guess what? Made up for it on this side because my son is very compliant. His father was not. But it's just real. Life is real and full of consequences. I listen to Yvette, what is it, Yvette Carnell, that's her name. I listen to all of them, but still, I can say they were not there when I was there. When I was raising my sons, there were a few African American people, just a few, but their children were making it too. So it was like, you know, a crowd of the many, people who were successful. But when I look back with the parents who just didn't ever show up, well, goddamn, what can I say? It's so unfortunate their children are in the penitentiary, and that penitentiary life doesn't look good, not in America, and not for black people. Well, my son is up and I'm in his spot, and I'm getting ready to go now. So I can say life, liberty, and have a great day. And thank you for joining. But please check out my podcast over there on Spotify because they ain't trying to give it to me. It's a parent empowerment half an hour. And quite frankly, just a lot of conversation just like right now. Or you can find me, Citizen Anderson, on Podbean. We're just going to be out here. And I'm going to keep on fighting for my pennies to come back till I get them. So it's not like I'm looking for subscriptions. No. But I am looking for capacity building out here. In 2024, it's me, you, and nobody else. Everybody has an obligation to stand and deliver. So will you stand, deliver? Follow me on my podcast. Help to build this conversation and join in 2024. The word is e-purpose. You know, no matter many, there's one, but out of one, there just may be none. But what are you willing to do in the year of 2024? I say like, I say share, and I say empower me even more. Let's build this capacity, boo. Let's just not sit down. Y'all have a blessed day. I'm going to end my poll first. And thank you for participating. Okay. And I'm going to end the... See? How do you see public education as a mandatory? And it has to be mandatory. But what will you do in the year 2024? How are we going to ensure that our children are getting something? Because nothing from nothing leaves nothing. Have a blessed day. And